What's up guys, Bajheera here, bringing you another patch 6.0.2 Warrior video. Now for this video, as you can see, we're back in Darnassus, and what does that mean? We're about to get into some theory crafting. It seems like I record a lot of these sort of like guide-esque videos out here on Darnassus, but one of the things I want to go over in this video is a spec that I'm going to sort of be coining the BLOODLORD spec. And the reason why I'm going to be doing that is basically because we're using a couple different talent choices to address some of the issues that I personally feel I have with Warriors at this moment. And this is less of a, hey, this is 100% the best thing you should be doing video, and it's more of a, hey guys, this is something that I've sort of thought about a little bit, thought I might want to give a try, and I want to share this with you guys, so maybe you can try this spec in your gameplay. Let me know what you think, because there's a couple things you can change, and if you guys want to give these things a try, I know I will be. We can come back in the comments section and talk about what we found. But anyways, the baseline of this spec really revolves around the level 45 talent called Tastes for Blood. Now, I've experimented with Sudden Death and Slam. Both of them feel okay. Obviously, Slam is going to be something that's a little bit more of a consistent damage. I feel like it really starts to shine at level 100, maybe. Sudden Death is just a pretty consistent, solid pick. I feel like the execute procs are really nice. They feel powerful enough to be useful, but you know, they're procs, right? You're not going to have them all the time, so it's not really on demand unless you get a little bit lucky. You're like, man, I would love to have an execute proc right now, and sometimes it happens and it feels good, but sometimes you're just left with nothing. And in that situation, and in the situation that I find myself in a lot of times, there are two things that I'm finding. One, I don't really have abilities to use, either because they're not there, or because I'm rage starved. And this Taste for Blood, when you first look at it, it's like each time Ren deals damage, you gain 3 rage. So it's like, okay, so I'm going to gain 3 rage a second. Well, not really, because you can multi-Ren. So Taste for Blood is going to be addressing this rage problem, which is going to be doing a couple things for you. It's going to make it so you can use your main abilities a little bit more often, if you want to. It's going to make it so that you can, once, you know, if you use Mortal Strike, everything's fine. But you can still use Whirlwind really often, so you can keep that consistent pressure rolling. You can keep that sweeping strikes active, because if there's one thing that Warriors do well in patch 6.0.2, it's deal damage. And AoE damage, cleaving people down in 3s is one of the most fun things, or in Battlegrounds even, is one of the most fun things that Warriors can do, I think. And the reason why I picked Taste for Blood is because it will consistently feed you rage. If you can dot at least, you know, 2-3 targets with Ren, you're gonna be getting, you know, anywhere from the 6 to 9, upwards of that. If they have pets, you're gonna be getting 12 rage a second. Now, this does require some upkeep. Obviously, it's gonna require that you actually rend your targets often. But another thing about this is, I guess I should just go ahead and fill out the talent spec. Everything else I feel like is pretty basic. I use Stormbolt, I like the range stun. I love Shockwave so much, but I still prefer a range stun on a 30-second cooldown to Shockwave right now. Now, if you're fighting a melee cleave, you might want to switch it up. If you're fighting, you know, TSG, you can Shockwave the Warrior, the DK, and the pets pretty much every time. So you might want to take Shockwave in a situation like that. But generally, I'm going to stick with Stormbolt just as my standard one. And I'm going Bloodbath here because I feel like Warriors, I don't really like that 3-minute burst class thing. I mean, I like Avatar. I mean, if you're going to be fighting these skirmishes, you're just going to go in, one-shot somebody, the match takes 30 seconds, you leave, it was fun, like, hit somebody really hard, good times. And Avatar would work well with, like, a mastery stacking spec, where all you want to do is max out as much mastery, gem full mastery, do whatever you got to do, and get as many of those percent modifiers on your damage as possible. In that case, Avatar is going to be helping you hit extremely hard with your Colossus Smash, Mortal Strike, and Execute. Obviously, that sort of spec would go well with Sudden Death. And I can make a video about that too. You know, an Avatar Sudden Death build, right? That's the kind of spec I was playing in the beta. I made, you know, a montage with that sort of thing, with the unreduced Sudden Death as it was. It was awesome. But it's not like that anymore. So now what I'm thinking about is a little bit more of a consistent build. Less reliant on huge mastery hits in the Avatar state. And it's more about getting lots of rage and doing lots of damage on a pretty short cooldown with Bloodbath. And in terms of my glyphs that I'm using for this, really the only thing that I feel like matters a whole lot is the glyph of Bull Rush at this point. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you with this spec, you're trying to generate rage. And that's another thing. This maybe allows you to use defensive stance a little bit more, because one of the problems with defensive stance right now is you simply do not generate enough rage to do anything. Like, you cannot use any attacks. It's pretty bad. But maybe if you have rend on a couple targets, you'll be able to sit in defensive stance and use a couple mortal strikes if you have to, and keep yourself alive. RIP dear. I'm still waiting on the glyph of Rallying Cry. This is gonna be a must. I feel like these two glyphs are pretty good because warriors are pretty squishy. Anything that's gonna allow you to get a little bit of health back is good. I mean, this makes Rallying Cry a completely different cooldown. Very helpful. Just gotta wait on that. But enough jibber jabbering. I'm just gonna show you a little bit. I'm gonna be trying this spec out in PvP today. I encourage you guys to do the same. Let me know how things go. But basically, what the idea is, I am gonna be in battle stance for this. You're gonna charge in. Now, I still have hamstring and rend bound in one macro, so I'm just gonna hit 3 targets. You know, Colossus Smash, pop your coolies, and then you can start to see that even though just with 3 targets rended, you are able to just kick out consistent whirlwinds, and that feels pretty good. But you do need to keep an eye on your rend. So that rend just fell off, so I'm gonna go over here and re-rend my targets and keep that pain train flowing. And now, I guess this is just a fine time to add in one thing. Sweeping Strikes now, guys. Sweeping Strikes only costs 10 rage. So it's something that you want to probably use pretty consistently. I feel like it's going to be something that... I've always loved Sweeping Strikes, but now even more than before. Sweeping Strikes is something that you're going to want to make consistent use of, just because it's such a powerful ability, and it's, you know, one of those things that keeps you viable just by raw damage output. Aww. This guy said, why you gotta be so rude? Oh. Record a video, man. I'm trying to help my warrior brothers out here, friend. But you can see, even with just 3 targets rendered, you are gonna be able to do consistent damage in battle stance at least. Now, once you swap over to D stance, the story does change a little bit. You know, you're gonna have to be a little bit more mindful about your usage of whirlwinds, and of course, you know, going into using a claw smash puts you back in battle. But I mean, as long as you keep these rends up, even in D stance, you know, you might be able to do a little bit, especially if you're going to throw a charge in there every once in a while. You're going to be able to use a couple whirlwinds. You're not going to feel as useless as you were before, I feel like. But it's something to consider, guys. I'm going to call this the Bloodlord Spec Blood Warrior, whatever. Basically, what it comes down to, more than anything else, is the taste for blood thing. The fact that I'm throwing Bloodbath in there just kind of completes the idea of, hey, this is a Blood Warrior. But it's also cool because you have a burst ability that you can use on a minute cooldown. Lines up with your trinket. Makes me at least feel like I'm effective outside of the 3-minute window. Once, I mean, you know, doing skirmishes with your friends where you have a healer and, you know, the matches are going to last 30 seconds because you're fighting triple DPS and you just want to one-shot somebody, like, that's fun. But maybe against a little bit more skilled opponents down the line, you might want to have something outside of that 3-minute burst that allows you to pressure your opponent. But anyways, guys, that's what I wanted to go over with you guys for this video. Another thing, just on the tail end of all this, in terms of how you balance your secondary stats, I did make some mention of how you might want to stack Mastery with Avatar to go for those gigantic hits, because your Mastery has changed up a little bit, as you notice. Your Mastery now increases the damage of Mortal Strike, Claw Smash, and Execute abilities by 70%. So that's how the Sudden Death Avatar Mastery stacking build would go. Now for this, I'm not necessarily going to recommend that you stack Haste, but in the sort of theory of it, you could lose some crit and go for some more haste, and you would look really similar, except maybe your rends would tick a little bit faster, generating you more rage, because it doesn't say, you know, every tick of, I mean, it doesn't say, you know, you can't, you know, increase the amount of times that rend ticks during the duration of it, right? It's not like a set amount of rage that you get during the course of your, you know, whatever, how long is that debuff? 18-second debuff? You can get rend to tick a lot more times with more haste during that 18 seconds if you have more haste. So that would in turn generate more rage, and you would generate that much more rage with that many more rends on different targets. So it'd be pretty interesting to see how that works, and if you guys want to check that out, I think I'll be messing with it today a little bit, trying out different specs. We know the Mastery stacking Avatar Sudden Death thing is pretty cool. But I think the Bloodlord Warrior offers you a slightly different gameplay style. It makes Warrior not feel so slow. You're not out of rage, you have more things to do, and maybe you can even make use of defensive stance. Plus, it also gives you something a little bit new to the Warrior class that you may not have done before, or at least not for a while, which is multi-rending. You know, making sure that you have even just a little bit of ramp-up time, but it does allow you to really go ham for the duration of your 3 rends or more on different targets. So something to check out. Definitely, you know, like I said in my warrior guide video, which, or not warrior guide, warrior update video, which, by the way, Marcus, thank you. Things are different, and we're gonna have to adapt to these changes. But you know, one of the challenges and one of the fun things I think about situations like this is it does allow us to really get into our class, do some theory crafting, try things out, and see what works. So I encourage you guys to do that. Don't get too bummed out. Don't get too bummed out. Just keep an open mind. Try things out. Try this out, and let me know what you think. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll definitely be bringing you guys more 6.0.2 Warrior PvP videos, in addition to Death Knight, Brett Paladin, and Shaman videos. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!